The void of space stretched endlessly around the damaged vessel Celestial Voyager, its metallic hull reflecting the distant starlight as it drifted helplessly. Inside, the atmosphere was tense. Captain Vril of the Galactic Confederation paced nervously on the command deck, his four-slender limbs moving in perfect synchronization while his translucent skin pulsed with stress indicators. "Status report," Vril demanded, his voice a melodic series of clicks that the ship's translator converted to standard galactic common. Chief Engineer Glox, a gelatinous being from the Marian Nebula, burbled unhappily. "The quantum thrust manifold is completely shattered, Captain. Without it, we're stranded in this sector. Our distress signal is broadcasting, but the nearest Confederation vessel is 3 solar cycles away." The assembled crew, representing 7 distinct species from across the galaxy, exchanged worried glances. None of them said what they were all thinking. 3 solar cycles was too long. Their life support systems would fail long before help arrived. "There is one option," suggested Navigation Officer Trill, her tentacles twisting nervously around her console. "There's a human outpost on the asteroid belt 2 light minutes from our position." A collective gasp rippled through the command deck. Humans were known throughout the galaxy as Deathworlders, creatures evolved on a planet so hostile and high gravity that they had developed into something the rest of the galactic community viewed with a mixture of fear and fascination. "Human?" Security Chief Kraz snorted, his armored plates clicking together. "Those primitive brutes would likely destroy what remains of our ship." Captain Vril raised a limb for silence. "We have no choice. Send the signal." 2 hours later, the crew gathered at the airlock as a small shuttle docked with their vessel. The airlock cycled, and a figure stepped through. Even in the standard-issue engineering spacesuit, the human's dense musculature was evident. When the helmet came off, the alien crew instinctively recoiled. The human had tan skin with dark hair cropped short, and eyes that seemed to analyze everything in an instant. Most startling to the crew was the casual way the human moved in the ship's artificial gravity, like it was nothing at all. "Name's Jack," the human said, extending a hand in the traditional human greeting before quickly withdrawing it upon seeing the alien's discomfort. "Got your distress call? Something about a quantum thrust manifold?" Yes," Captain Vril managed, trying to mask his instinctive fear. "Our engineer can brief you on the situation." Jack followed Glox to the engine room, moving with what the aliens perceived as alarming speed and confidence. The damaged manifold was a complex piece of technology, the pride of Confederation engineering. It would require delicate recalibration, specialized tools, and intimate knowledge of quantum physics to repair. As Glox explained the intricacies of the system, Jack simply nodded, occasionally asking questions that surprised the alien engineer with their insight. "So you're saying the quantum field collapsed because of cascade failure in the containment matrix?" Jack asked, pointing to a section of the damaged manifold that Glox hadn't even begun to explain yet. "How did you know that?" Glox burbled in surprise. Jack shrugged. "Seen something similar on Jupiter Station last year. Different tech, same principle." The human engineer opened his toolkit and began laying out equipment that the alien crew had never seen before. Some pieces looked almost primitive, physical tools rather than the quantum manipulators the Confederation typically used. "You're going to fix our advanced propulsion system with metal implements?" Kraz asked incredulously. Jack smiled, a gesture that revealed teeth, a sight that sent a shiver through the watching aliens. "Sometimes the old ways work best. Besides, I brought some tech of my own." From the case, Jack withdrew a small holographic projector that displayed schematics of the manifold with a level of detail that astonished Glox. "How did you get these? This is proprietary Confederation technology." "Human curiosity," Jack replied simply. "We like to understand how things work." For the next 6 hours, the alien crew watched in amazement as Jack worked. The human moved, with unexpected grace in the tight space of the engine room, contorting into positions that looked physically impossible to reach components hidden deep within the ship's systems. Jack worked without breaks, seemingly tireless despite the heat and cramped conditions. Most surprising was the improvisation. When a particular component proved beyond repair, Jack didn't hesitate to reconfigure nearby systems to compensate. When traditional methods failed, the human resorted to solutions so unorthodox that Glocks could barely follow the logic. Yet somehow, they worked. "That's not possible," Glocks whispered, as Jack bypass-linked two systems that, according to all Confederation engineering principles, should have created a catastrophic overload. Instead, they hummed in perfect harmony. "Possible is just a matter of perspective," Jack replied, wiping sweat from his brow. "Where I grew up on Earth, we had to make do with what we had. You learn to think outside conventional boundaries when failure means death." The alien crew began to understand what made humans different. It wasn't just their physical resilience that made them Deathworlders. It was their mental adaptability, their willingness to challenge established rules and find solutions where none seemed possible. By the time Jack closed the access panel on the fully repaired manifold, the entire crew had gathered to watch. As the quantum field stabilized and the ship's systems came back online, spontaneous applause broke out, translated through various physiological expressions of appreciation. "I don't understand," Captain Vril admitted as he authorized payment to the human engineer. "Our best engineers said this would require a complete replacement and 3 weeks in a specialized dock." Jack smiled again, but this time the aliens didn't flinch. "Humans have a saying, necessity is the mother of invention. When you grow up on a world that's constantly trying to kill you, you either learn to adapt or you perish." As Jack prepared to return to the human outpost, Glocks approached tentatively. Would you be willing to share some of your techniques? They contradict much of what our engineering academy teaches, but the results are undeniable." "Sure," Jack replied, handing over a data chip. "Just some notes and workarounds we've developed. Consider it a cultural exchange." The alien crew watched as the human shuttle detached and disappeared into the starfield. On the command deck, Captain Vril made a new entry in the ship's log. "Today, I witnessed firsthand why humans are rapidly becoming valued members of the galactic community, despite their frightening origins. Their unique evolution has produced not monsters, but problem solvers of unparalleled creativity. The Confederation has much to learn from these Deathworlders." As the celestial Voyager resumed its journey, the crew found themselves looking at the stars differently, wondering what other preconceptions might need challenging in this vast universe they shared with humans.